first, let's take a look around and search for books. Look what we found. Books on pets and kangaroos. You'd be surprised what you find too. Next, oh look, we'll go explore. Alphabet books and so much more. We'll spell the word we want to read and turn the page, imagination free.
Welcome to the library, it's so much fun. So many books to read, let's read them one by one. Books can make us happy, excited or sad. They can open doors that we've never had.
You can choose a book to share with your friend in a comfy chair. Pages filled with fantasy stories that will set you free. Checking out is not that hard. All you need is a library card. Read at home, enjoy the fun. Just bring them back when you are done.
Welcome to the library, it's so much fun. So many books to read, let's read them one by one. Books can make us happy, excited or sad. They can open doors that we've never had. Library, 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 library. Adventure. 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 Library, 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 library. Let's read them one by one. Library, 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 library. Doors that we measure. Library, 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 library. Adventure.
Library, 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 library. Library, 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 adventures. Woo!
There you go. Yeah. Good morning, and welcome to a new week of the Now Show, which is happening. When is it, Mojo? When is it?
Now, baby, right
Right
now.
We're so excited. Yeah. So my name is Dan, and I'm a composer, performer, educator, and also chief academic officer of the David Z Foundation. And that was the song Library Adventure that we did in partnership with Ingenuity and Chicago Public Schools with George Washington Carver. And that song was written by none other than kindergartners. So I'm so excited. I'm going to pass it over to you, co-host Mojo. So who are you?
Yeah. Welcome, everybody. Is this week 5? I think this is week 5.
Start of week 5. We're now
Yeah,
20 episodes in.
Yeah, so this is episode 21 of the Now Show. All of them are recorded now, just not in this now.
They are.
In right now, not right now, if that makes any sense at all. And I'm sure it
Though
doesn't.
right now. Not right now. Though right now.
It's Fun Day Monday, baby. We're turning Monday around. We're turning it on its head where it belongs, upside down and backwards.
Turn that
Woo!
frown upside down. There we go. And what do you do, Joe? Mojo?
Yeah, just.
Oh, sorry. I'm gonna let you do your own segue.
Okay.
Speaking of segues.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the segue into my segue. I appreciate that. If I pictured myself on a 2-wheeled Segway just going around, just library.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait till we get our Lootfish model so that we can actually sing that together. We'll harmonize in real time. All right.
Yeah, so what Dan was just referring to, a little squirrel side note, is that Lootfish is providing us this device where we can somehow collaborate together live on Spaces and on all sorts of streaming devices, so that there's not that lag time between my voice and Dan's voice and the instruments, all that kind of stuff. I can't wait.
Awesome.
There's a squirrel right there. All right. So the Now Show is Dan, our host's brainchild, and he brought me in about a little over 5 weeks ago, and we decided, you know what? I love what Dan said. In my words, what he's saying was, there's a lot of pieces I don't really have ironed out yet. I don't know exactly how it's going to work, but I've been trying to work through all the details for too long. It's time to go. He says, let's work on it. Let's build it as we fly. And I'm like, yeah, I can do that. I can do that. Let's go. And on that very first show, Awesome Mary down there, AM in the morning, right there, AM in the morning, she just shows up and she's like lighting up the chat, one thing after another, catching all the things, all the nuggets that we're dropping and putting them in the chat. We're like, we got a producer. Just showed up on day one of show number one, week number one. So and there she is. Awesome Mary, you're number one. You're number one. I'm going to pass off to Awesome Mary.
She's number one.
Tell us about yourself, Awesome Mary.
You guys are hilarious. So I am AM, Awesome Mary. Today is my no camera day.
It's all good.
maybe I should do that every week.
That should be a Monday ritual.
I know, right? No camera day. So I'm Awesome Mary on all platforms, and I live in Colorado, and beautiful Colorado, and I am a web designer by trade. On my business, and I also love karaoke.
Mm-hmm.
I karaoke on X, on the X platform.
And these guys. I was going to say and karaoke.
And karaoke, yes. New to karaoke, but I'm loving it, and I invite everybody to come and see us on karaoke on Thursdays at 3 p.m. PEAR Daylight Time.
Yep, PDT, PEAR Daylight Time, because we're in one of those funny little parts of the world that does daylight savings, and it's okay. We just have to know it's PST or PDT, put it, but it's PEAR Standard Time or PEAR Daylight Time, and that's how we track time.
Rumor has it this may be the last time we have to worry about PIST versus PIDIT. It may be a thing of the past. We'll see.
This is how rumors start, when you actually start a sentence with the word rumor has it. Rumor has it. Sorry.
That was my secret code starting a rumor. Rumor has it.
Rumor has it. Yeah. Well, yeah, there you go. So while we're on PEAR Daylight Time, just big shout out to our sponsors over there. You can join us in the listening lounge on Chatmosa, and it's a pretty remarkable platform. So first of all, PearCoin is the sponsor for the show. They're the presenting sponsor. They're the reason we're on the air. And you can check them out at pearcoin.xyz. I'll put that in the Chatmosa, which I'm going to show right now because we haven't had a hot minute to highlight the wonders of Chatmosa in a little bit. But so this is what Chatmosa looks like on the inside. This is the inside scoop. And you can see it, right? I'm not just seeing things. Can everyone else see it? Okay, good. So we've got this Jumbotron here. You can actually check out the song Library Adventure that we started the show with. These are our sponsors. PearCoin. It started off actually being called at 7 o'clock somewhere because it started with the heart of karaoke or singing together. One of the leaders of PEAR, Mrs. Pixel, and I coasted. That's a Freudian slip. Hosted. It felt like coasting because it was fun. We hosted a 30-day fun challenge called the How Can I Keep From Singing Challenge. And so yeah, this is Chatmosa. You're welcome to come in and join us. And I'm just gonna put in the Jumbotron so you can see this in real time. HTTPS. Did you guys know these are forward slashes, not backslashes? I just learned that.
I did.
This year.
So those are
PEAR, yeah.
Say backslash all the time, and they are incorrect.
They are. And I learned it from Austin Powers, I believe. And that's where I get all my information. So
the source of all wisdom.
Yeah. So what's cool is like here, I can just click on the PEAR website in the Jumbotron. It'll open in a new tab, which I'll share right now. And there we go. My favorite part of this website is we get to kick around music notes. Just in case, like I need a little. Did you guys know this?
No.
This is just a
cool. I did not know that.
It's so cool. Music note magnetism. It's really fun.
What?
And you're like, so it's kind of like sheepdog herding. Look, you can put all the music notes together. I've never tried this before. Look, I'm getting them all together. Sorry, squirrel.
Are you composing? Are you composing or are you decomposing?
I'm decomposing, I think. So this is a lot of really cool things. The one thing I did want to highlight, since we're all connected through music, this is their kind of PEAR anthem by Orchard Brown, who is their lead singer, and it's called Trials of the PEAR. So check out our friends at PEARcoin.
Cool song.
And also, yeah, I dig it. And I actually, Mrs. Pixel, I dare her next karaoke. She's got to do the. This is a public dare. It's like a triple dog dare. I'm not backing up on this. It's out there. Triple dog dare you, Mrs. Pixel, to do Trials of a PEAR, the cover we did.
Double dog dare, right to the triple dog dare.
Back to the triple. I know. I did not even yield to that. Not now. Not now.
Triple dog dare you.
How pair you? Oh my goodness.
Dog pair.
All right. So the other thing I want to show is just like this platform, Chatmosa, connects LinkedIn, X, Facebook, TikTok, Microsoft, and Google. I'm getting better at that. I'm just rattling those off. So yeah, you can log in through any of those. So like you see Awesome Mary's right here. So I can click on her X page right here, and it'll just open up. And then I'm like, ooh, I love this show so much. I'm so glad Awesome Mary's our producer. I'm gonna give her cash money right here.
Ooh, do it.
Yeah, when I have cash money to give. If somebody tips me, I will tip Mary and Joe.
And the tips
tip
go
any
on.
of us. And the tips go on. Right.
Is it Instagram too, or no Instagram?
Is who?
Just,
well, it's Facebook,
Facebook,
but Facebook is Meta, and so is Instagram. So I think you almost have to have a Facebook, even if you don't use it. Like if you sign up for Instagram, I don't know how that works, but I know that it's through Facebook that they log in. So we could make a case maybe, and maybe they're even working on it. We kind of have the ears of the folks at Chatmosa because they like the model that we're doing with this. But I personally, I just see the value in connecting all of these platforms in a time where we're trying not to silo because it's so easy to silo, so I want to highlight, you can also you can write a message. I invited them to co-host. I can also remove them from the session.
Hey, what did I do? Sorry.
I don't know. Yes. So here you can come to Mojo's page, and look, he's got his tips open too. Give him cash money. And then finally, this is the painful thing for me. I'm gonna highlight myself.
You can do it. You can do this.
I got this. I got this. And I actually I have tips open as well on my X page, but I'm logged in through LinkedIn. So this is where you can visit my LinkedIn page and see what I'm up to. And there's some really cool things going on with Global Lighthouse Studios here. This is where I usually showcase my foundation work. So we've got all of these shows that we've done last year. And
hey, Dan,
I actually got to,
tell the audience a little bit about the foundation, because I don't think most of them know what David Z Foundation is.
I would love to. Thank you for that invitation.
Welcome.
Here, thank you. Let me share. I've got too many tabs open again. This is Thoughts Become Chrome Tabs. That is becoming a t-shirt. Thoughts become Chrome tabs. It's so true. Yeah. So David Z Foundation, I'm going to go ahead and throw that in the Jumbotron as well, because why not? We've got a pretty cool website, in my humble opinion.
Yeah.
So
and I got to meet Pauly Z at the M show, and he's just such a cool dude and amazing.
I agree. Yeah. Well, and one of this is the pop-up we have that on the website. One of the things that we're really looking for help with right now is we are helping students in the LA area who have lost instruments in the fires to have them replaced. And we're collaborating with the Guitar Center Music Foundation. And it's just been really cool to see that. I think you were there in person, right, Mojo? Can you tell us about that? Because I'm a little bit jealous. I wasn't able to make it.
Well, first of all, thank you to Dan, because he told me about it. He actually told me that day. He said, "Are you free tonight by any chance?"
What you doing?
Because Pauly's having a birthday party at Whiskey A Go Go, and for those of you who are musicians, you'll recognize it immediately. For those who aren't, it's a legendary club in Los Angeles where many of the biggest names in rock and roll have started or played. And so I was like, I've never been. I've seen the iconic sign a zillion times. And so Dan said, why don't you go up and just meet Polly in person and wish him a happy birthday? So I was standing outside the club, which was cool enough. Just like I was standing next to Dan's friend Karen, and we're chatting. And Polly walks right up. We're
Oh,
outside
Karen Garrity, yay.
we hadn't even got in yet. And Karen, I'm talking to Karen, and Polly walks up and starts talking to Karen because they're connected, obviously, working together all the time. And Karen says, this is Dan's friend Joe. He sang with you on the stage for the We Are the World tribute at NAMM. And Polly goes, cool, man. Great to meet you. You're at my table. You'll be table 1 with Karen. And then he had to go on and do his thing. It's like, all right, I'm in. So when the doors opened, Karen and I went right to table 1, and we were doing some fundraising for, I forget. What do you remember?
It was for the Guitar Center Music Foundation. It's for that, and that's what got me talking about. Is this right here? So if you go to davidzfoundation.org, that's the first thing you see. It pops up, and then we've got a GoFundMe that is started to help purchase instruments for students who lost instruments in the fires in LA. But so can you, like, you were there when they were handed instruments, right? Can you describe that? Because that's what I haven't even. Yeah, go ahead.
That's
I can hardly contain myself. I was so excited, right? So the whole night was cool. It was like mind blowing. I was like sitting in the presence of legendary greatness from the past, and you could just feel the vibe was so cool, right? And they opened up with a student band. I think they were all high schoolers, and they were rocking out, doing their thing, and they were pretty good. And Polly's, really giving them lots of accolades, like as he always does. He's so generous for this praise. And then he did a segue in between that band and the band that Polly's singing in, and he brought up a student and their parent, a student who had lost their instrument, their beloved instrument in the fires, and then he would talk about what happened to them and interview them briefly. And while he's talking, one of his crew would come up with brand new instruments, both for the kid and for the parent, if the parent was a musician, and present them replacement instruments for the instruments that they lost. And the emotion, everybody gets choked up. Like, are you kidding me? Like the eyes are, what? Are you kidding? And the mouth opens up. And they got to about the third or fourth kid, and you could tell they were so excited because they knew what was going to happen now.
Yeah.
And so the moment was so priceless, where you could tell something had been ripped out of their heart, right? Because I know as a trumpet player, when my trumpet got crushed, it got run over, I thought, I can buy a new trumpet, but I don't want one. I want that one. That's the one that toured with me around the world, right? But to see then that these kids who didn't have the ability to financially to replace the instruments that they'd lost, and see the angst on their parents heartbreaking for their kids. And in that moment, their joy is restored, right? They get brand new instruments, probably the top of the line, and they're just given the stuff. And boy, there's the energy in the room was off the charts. It was so great. The music was fantastic. The whole night was great, but those moments were priceless.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm so glad to hear that story, because I actually haven't even heard all those details yet. And it's been really cool working with Guitar Center. They actually, so Polly filmed 3 music videos in Colombia right after NAMM. So that's crazy. That's what I'm actually working on right now. Is this third video is really complex, and we're representing like 200 species, the sounds of animals, birds, and insects within the song, and I'm making like a reggaeton beat out of the animal sounds, and it's been just wild, but literally wild. But
I thought you said birds. No, wait. I thought you said animals birthing insects.
Animals birthing insects. That would be Mary. That's called a leech. That would be, like, if you have, I mean, that's not a symbiotic relationship. That's a leeching relationship. Oh boy, where did we go? Okay, so I know there's so many squirrels, so many lovely squirrels. So I wanted to segue into what we're actually doing now at the foundation, and this is where I did see Cass just saw the text, so hopefully he'll be able to hop in here soon. But we are planning an exchange program, basically, with Ethiopia. And there is a library in Ethiopia that it started off, I think, 2 months ago as a condemned building, no water, no electricity. And then Cass who is hopefully going to join us in a moment. If he doesn't, we'll have him back on because this story is not going anywhere. But he actually has been working with this library and was able to raise $5,000. And now with just the $5,000, he was able to now have a building that's just waiting to be a library. So he fully remodeled it. It's got water, electricity. They're putting in a recording studio. And so it's just going to remarkably change the economic footprint of this area. And also, Cass applied for it to become the 6th sister city in Spokane. So now get this. This is where like the whole like synergy and synchronicities and God things come in. I was just talking with Cass, I think about a week and a half ago now, and I was like, hey, what else can we do to bring in somebody? Could we maybe look at for an artist that could come and support this, and maybe there's some kind of connection? And it took less than 5 minutes to find that Ruth B is actually has Ethiopian heritage, and she is really, really passionate about literacy, youth work, and connectivity. So she also just lives 10 hours north of me in Edmonton, in Canada, in Alberta. And I reached out, and we're going to see what happens. And I'm just really excited to keep riding this wave, because then shortly after that, another friend who helps me host the open mics here, he said he just invitation out of the blue to this event at Starbucks, and he said, hey, I'm getting my like mastery level certification of barista, and I'm hosting an Ethiopian coffee tasting night. And he had no idea like what this whole plan with the library is. And so that's, I know. So I'm like, yeah. So Cass is going to try and go to that as well. So we'll just, we'll see how these sparks keep flying. But that's when you make that first move, the other moves start to seem a little bit more obvious. But it's so easy to get caught in the analysis paralysis of like, what's my move? What should I do? And last week we were talking about opportunities versus action. Yes, Mojo, I sense you wanting to.
I'm holding it back as best I can.
There you go.
To Dan's point, so this is a parallel to what I talked about, how the show got launched. Dan's trying to figure out all the hows before he finally just,
right.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to figure out all the hows. There's too many variables. So I'm going to figure out the how live. I'm going to do it on the fly. That's how we launched this whole show, the Now Show. And then he was talking about the same things going on with this Ethiopian project. There's just so many variables. But as he stepped into action, even not having all the details, and that starts to present itself. So that reminded me of what I've heard Tony Robbins say so often. He says, if your what is clear and your why is compelling, the how will present itself. And it took me a while to really capture on if the what, so you got a clear mission, right? You know what you want to get done. And you got a good reason, a really deep reason. That's your why, which is a Simon Sinek thing. You could go really deep on the whys. So if your what is clear and your why is compelling enough, then you just take the first step, and the how will present itself. And it does build itself on the fly. And that makes perfect sense to me now, because as we're moving into something, there's still a bunch of stuff changing all the time. In fact, everything's changing all the time. So there's no way in this moment we could have all of the hows for what the future is going to look like, because there's too many variables going on. But as you step into one step, then that gives you a position to evaluate, course correct, and make the next step and the next step, like we do with everything. But somehow we get this angst and this paralysis analysis you talk about, saying, well, if I don't have all the hows, this is what Tony Robbins calls the tyranny of how. The tyranny of how says, I have to have it figured out before I do it. He says, that's exactly wrong. You don't figure it out until you do it. It's in the doing that you figure it out. So I just want to throw that.
Well, and then I think one of the things that because that had come up last week, right? And I just got to thinking, don't let the tyranny of how, I forgot the verb. What was the verb that I used? But like usurp. It was a really strange verb. Don't let the tyranny of how usurp the power of now.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
So there you go. That could be a t-shirt too. Just
But
like thoughts become Chrome tabs.
Yeah, it's an echo of what I learned in Sunday school, that faith without works is dead. All the stuff I believe is kind of useless until I actually step into action to say, how does this work in real life, right? Faith without work is actually dead. Which is really interesting, that whole dynamic. I didn't fully understand, but that's the same principle. All the stuff I believe about anything, until I step into it and see what it's really like, well, it's just dead. It's just dormant on the shelf.
Yeah, well, actually, that gives me an idea already of a drawing prompt, because it just made me think about this math side of my brain, which I've been nurturing a little bit more recently. I'm working on a TED Talk called The Calculus of Life that focuses on, instead of everything happens for a reason, everything happened for a reason. So then we investigate what are the catalysts of the things that we've seen in the past, and how can we use that to inform our future choices right now. That's the calculus of life. We're working on the acceleration curve, not the vector, the speed. It's not just life is. There's not very many solid lines in life.
That's right.
But so here's what I'm thinking. You got me thinking of this. Of course, I'm thinking of the coordinate plane, because who doesn't? That's a normal thing to think about, right?
That's where we all go.
So the X, Y axis, right? And so this is something that I was first kind of learned about the concept. I think it was when I was in high school confirmation, and they were saying, like, all right, so you have this vertical relationship, and we'll call that your relationship with God. It's you're going to have your highs, you're going to have your lows. Sometimes you feel like you're in the negative, right? So that's kind of our relationship with God. And then we think of that horizontal axis as our relationship with each other. To truly feel centered, we have to find that origin, right? Which is the point 0, 0. It's right here in the middle of the cross. That's interesting. But we can. We also don't want to downplay the moments where we're off center, because those are important too. Because when you're kind of off, when you're feeling say you're on a mountaintop moment, we have this really big connection with people, and we have this really big connection with God, and we're feeling like we're just out. We're really that's quadrant 1, folks. We're in quadrant 1, but that doesn't feel necessarily like anything unless we are aware of what quadrant 3 is doing. That's that kind of, we have a negative relationship with people around us and a negative relationship with God. And so we're always having to balance. And that's what I think this infinity symbol keeps coming up, Mojo. If you think of where that intersects, that's going to be at the origin, at 0, 0, at the center. Whether you call that God, the universe, whatever the name is, that's one of the things I like about God a lot, is that it's, God's kind of unfathomable.
Right, so, for sure. And if he wasn't, what kind of God would it be, right? I like to say, if I can define God, if I can grasp him, then it's a God of my own making. That's a pretty small God, and that's not really worthy of my worship. But if a God that's infinitely beyond what I could ask, think, or imagine, well, that's something worth investigating, and you can investigate it forever, because it's infinite in every direction. But I just want to point out, because I've never heard this before, so we're having a mind baby moment here, is that you talked about the coordinates between my relationship with my higher power, creator, God, whatever name you put it. And by the way, even the Hebrews wouldn't put a name on God because they thought that was too small, so they wouldn't even utter his name.
That's where Yahweh comes from. It's saying I am.
Just like Yahweh actually was the sound of breathing. Breath, life, right? So it's so cool. That's another thing. But what I'm saying is, on the coordinates,
Yahweh and Ruach. All right,
on the coordinates between my relationship with my higher power, my creator God, and then my relationship with each other, forms a cross, as you pointed out. But interestingly enough, when Jesus himself was asked, what's the most important thing for us to do? He says, love God, love your neighbor. The intersection is exactly,
that gave me goosebumps.
Yeah, that's exactly what Jesus was talking about. He said, love God, love your neighbor.
Those are the 2 big ones.
That's where life happens, right there. That's where the best life happens. Woohoo!
Oh my gosh. Okay. Gotta ride these goosebumps all the way to Pixio. Of course.
Yeah. So we do a drawing prompt. Dan does it in Pixio using the AI. That's a free tool, Pixio, Dan?
I believe they're Not really. I think they're doing a free tier, but there's lots of experiments. So if folks want to check out Pixio for free, then they would just have to go to, oh wait, here, what am I doing? Sorry, I lost my panel.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, thanks. So Saturday at the Innovators Think Tank, Pixio always does like every single show for Innovators Think Tank on X. They do a kind of digital playground, a makerspace. And that's where they have the most powerful models for creative tools and also research tools utilizing AI. This is honestly AI in its best because it's specifically targeted for education and ways that we can provide modeling for how we can use this incredible resource in a way that is ethical and equitable and has dependable results.
Right.
You know, and it's just kind of amazing organization. So I always like to give them a lot of love, even though like.
Where can you find Pixio, Dan? Where can you find Pixio?
I'm gonna look. I know it's my. I'm gonna put it. I'll put it in the. Yeah, it's my. Let's see. Hang on. Sorry.
It's okay. Dan,
I'll put it in the tab, Mosa. Yeah, I have so many tabs. Thoughts become Chrome tabs. If you missed it before, thoughts become Chrome tabs. That is a whole thing.
So I just want to point out, Dan's talking about Pixio and AI, and a lot of people are averse to AI because they don't really understand it, which is how we all start. So how could we understand something we don't know yet? But Dan saying Pixio as a tool for education, my thought was, oftentimes the first thought that comes to mind is, well, AI, that's going to do the learning for the kids, so the kid doesn't have to do the learning. Well, that's one way you could use it, right? But that's not the only way. And Dan's demonstrating, and we're demonstrating here on the Now Show, that you can actually use AI to enhance your learning, right? To create
exactly
and use
and
your words, right? And then learning how to change the language, even in the prompts, to get different results, which is really powerful because when you think about even biblically, and this some people think this is a metaphor or a mythical story, and some people think it's actual physical story, but in the biblical account of creation, God, however you define that, is speaking things into existence. His words become worlds. God's words become our world. God's words become us. And Pixio is like this little representation of how that works. You take your words and you put it in the prompt and you say, create, and it creates a picture. It creates something from your words. And then you change the words and it changes the picture, right? And I just think that's a great representation of how words become worlds. Words have the power of creation in them. And so it's not like it's AI is taking away my power to create. It's actually enhancing my power to create by coming up with different things from my own prompts.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know if you guys are getting a bunch of feedback, but I did. So I think it's because I had the chat Mosa open. But I caught what you said. It just seemed it was like a little like an echo and a delay and a chorusing effect. It was really an interesting sound. But I agree that that
he just expressed secret of life and you missed it. I'm just kidding.
Wait. I don't know what you said. What?
Do it again, Mary.
I said that Mojo just told us a secret of life and you missed it.
Oh, well, I caught it. It just for me it I heard it 3 times.
All right.
Oh, you got triple.
I got triple. Yeah. Oh my gosh. What's funny is okay. I think it's gone now. You know what it was? It's because I had X open, and I was hearing actually like a delay. I was like the past was happening at the same time as the present. That was really interesting. Okay, so we're actually we haven't used this tool before, but based on what you're saying, that these words, thoughts become things as well as Chrome tabs. So we're gonna actually. Oh wait, I think I want to use the other model. So there's something called TurboCraft within Pixio, and you can actually. Let's see, TurboCraft. Yep. We're just going to use our words and it'll prompt in real time Like what you saw before is you can actually start with an image to kind of center you on, which we could do. I could start with a coordinate plane, but I actually want to just kind of start from scratch. So can you guys see the Pixio window?
Yes.
Okay, so I want to make sure you can, let's see. All right, so this will show us everything that we do. So I'll say coordinate plane. Let's see. Yep, there we go. There's a coordinate plane. And then I'll say relation, x-axis is relationship with each other, and y-axis is relationship with God. Oh, like it made a little cross in the middle. That's so interesting. I don't know what the A and the X. X add. That's so cool. So what else, guys? Help me out. I just need some more words to kind of describe what we might be pushing this image to, whatever it is. And we're in iterative mode, so every word we put in will affect the image.
I wasn't good at math.
No, you don't have so.
Go to the left. We lost
Go to the left. Oh no. Oh, he's back. He's back stage.
Okay, so we're trying to create.
Yeah, we're just so now I just said coordinate plane x-axis is relationship with each other, and y-axis is relationship with God. Do you see how it changed just slightly? But do you see how it put a little cross in the middle of the origin? That's so interesting.
It's so cool.
Okay, so now what else do we want to put on here? I mean, just so do we want, and so you can tell me a style, you can tell me like what color scheme, you can tell me images to put on. What else should we add to kind of summarize this idea?
Let's do a Michelangelo style. So
okay, so Renaissance,
Sistine Chapel-ish, however you want to word that.
Sistine. See, it added some colors. Chapel. Oh my goodness.
Oh, look at that.
I'm digging this already, right?
Yeah. So I really like I like the word antiquity. Antiquity. I don't know what it's gonna do.
Good word.
That's kind of cool.
Spirituality.
Spirituality. Now let's make it modern.
Okay, good. Try Edward Hopper style. I'm just curious what that would look like.
Edward Hopper style.
My favorite modern artists.
That's interesting.
Wow.
Look at that statue. Okay, we'll keep it. Now let's say wholesome. We don't want to push it in the direction of that boat, Mojo.
And also, we should try childlike as well.
Well, how about childlike wonder?
Oh, I love it. Yes. Curiosity. Heaven,
curiosity. And this is really just like, it's quite literally and iteratively a stream of consciousness. But we still see this like that they still have the coordinate plane here. And I imagine, since we said Renaissance, it probably put everything into a golden ratio, so that's interesting. It's a little bit on the nose religious for me now, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's,
have you removed the Renaissance part, or is it still in there?
No, it's still, everything's still there. I just added the word subtle.
If we're going to go modern, we probably have to take Renaissance out because now we've got a conflict of time period.
Well, that's the thing. We can blend Renaissance and modern. So let's take it out and see what happens, because then it. So I think I'm going to take out Sistine Chapel. That's where all the figures.
Yep,
so now I'll do modern Renaissance.
Ooh, modern Renaissance. That's a great idea.
And the order matters. The order of operations matters. And look at that. So you have, that's so interesting. So what else? I'm going to say healing, because that image made me think of that.
Relationships. We were really talking about relationships between God, relationships with each other.
Yeah. So that's right here. But let me delete that, and then I'm going to put it somewhere else. See, now it's just kind of a boring coordinate plane. But now I'll put that more in your face. and see what happens. It doesn't know what an relationship is.
That's a really good relationship. It's an relationship. Woo!
Yeah. See, so but what's cool is it has my history of how everything changed. So if I can download every single one of them. I really liked, like this one, before it started getting a little weird. Like, so here, I'm going to download this. And this is where the iterative process and like this idea of imitation, emulation, and creation, it really comes into play, because we're imitating words that we associate with this idea. We're imitating styles that we even said, like Edward Hopper and Renaissance antiquity. And then we emulate. So when you emulate something, that gives it place. It's the place of you, right? And then you get to create. And that's where you kind of take the scaffolding off. And then you have just the thing standing on its own that never existed before, because of all these connections that we put together. And that's what creativity is anyway. And it's one of the things that using tools like this can really kind of turbocharge. So I'm going to go to a different model. I'm going to feed it. What? Sorry, I missed you. What?
I just want to jump in on what you just said about imitation, emulation, creation. So immediately I went back to, how did I learn how to play music? Specifically, how did I learn how to play trumpet? Well, at first, I was imitating all the greats, right? All the trumpet players I admire, Louis Armstrong and Bill Driscoll and Maynard Ferguson, which I couldn't really imitate them. I was just trying to imitate them, right? But at some point, when I got to the place where I could play jazz, my very first jazz concert, when I was picked out as a soloist in the middle of the song, it was "In the Mood" by Glenn Miller, and I knew it was coming. So I spent a couple of weeks preparing by actually memorizing the recorded solo of the trumpet player on the recording, note for note. And then when it came time for me to solo, I played back the solo that I had memorized. And my band teacher, very astutely, he said, "Joe, you nailed that. You played it exactly like the recording, which is good, but jazz allows you to improvise." And I'm like, "I know, but I don't know how to do that yet." He says, "Well, just take what you just did and just start putting slight variations on it as you feel it." And so I took, that's the process Dan was just highlighting. I started with imitation. Now my teacher's saying, now emulate that. So you're doing variations on the original. And then eventually I got to the point where I could create, where I didn't have to have anything memorized. When the solo came, the vamp comes where you get the solo time, I could just feel the music and use my skills and my experience to create a brand new solo, which actually would be new every single time I played a jazz piece, because it's all in the moment. So that process that Dan was talking about, an imitation, emulation, and creation, that's exactly my experience as a trumpet player.
Oh, that's awesome. I actually have an infographic for that.
Of course you do.
Of course I do. Here, let me so this is where we're at. I kind of like the direction this is heading. It's, the things are getting a little more subtle. So it's generating something right now, but I'm gonna see, this is less subtle now.
Yeah, that's.
But did you see what? Like that's an interesting one.
Wow. Yeah.
So I have a whole new prompt. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Mary.
I just want to ask, Mojo, did you say emulation, imitation, and creation?
Starts with imitation. Imitation's first.
Okay.
Then emulation, which is where you put your own spin on somebody else's work. And then it goes to creation, where now you're creating your own. But a lot of people get this confused. They think they can start at the creation point, but then they get stuck because they have no idea what to do. And I say the best thing to do is do what someone else has done, because as Tony Robbins says, success leaves clues. Do what someone else has done. It'll get you there faster. Now your path is going to be different, but you don't know that until you start walking down somebody else's path. Say, oh, that fits for me and that doesn't, and I can take that with me. And then you can actually start gathering clues from a lot of different successful people that went ahead of you, and you start to mix and match what really fits for you. And then, so that's imitation, emulation, and then eventually creation, where, well, now it's coming from you rather than you're imitating or emulating, you're actually creating.
Yeah, let me just, I'm going to put it on screen. And that was so beautifully articulated, Mojo. So I'm getting back into Chatmosa. Can you see the tab?
Yep. We're just
Okay.
looking at the time too. I think we have about 4 minutes.
Yeah. So we definitely want to finish up our creation, but I gotta put this. This is something I made for a presentation I did with Nearpod, and we were talking about this very phenomenon. And the I do, we do, you do. That's a very classic education formula. Where like I do something as a teacher, so I expect my students to imitate it. We do something together, so there's that emulation where they're getting the process and then they put their own spin on it. And then the you do, that's like the, okay, now it's your turn. I'm taking off the scaffolding, I'm stepping away, and that's where we have creativity. So that's what it's so important to save time for creativity. You know, this process. Go ahead, Motu.
Say then the next step on that, if there was another step, it would be doobie doobie doo.
Doobie doobie doo. Instead of be doo be doo. No, we're saying it's be doo be doo be.
Be doo be doo be doo be, right. Or Scooby Dooby Doo if you really want to go back a ways.
Scooby Dooby Doo. Wow.
Zoinks!
Zoinks! Wow. We're
oh boy.
We've got 48 listeners now listening to this. This is great. Hey everybody.
Thank you, people. Thank you.
Yeah, so let's wrap up this image and then that'll wrap the show. We'll get back to. I kind of liked working in the iterative mode. What do you guys think?
No, it's fun. It's fun to see, right? So, how would I put this? As Pixio is emulating and beginning to create the iterations, as you said. So it's
right.
Continuous variations on the original idea. Then that, of course, sparks different ideas inside my mind and your mind, because you're looking at that saying, "Oh, that was a little too obviously religious, or a little too Catholic, or a little too Renaissance." And so then you start changing the words, and Pixio is now following along, but it's still carrying the echoes of the past into the present. I think this is such an important point here, is that it's very tough for, as humans, to break free from the past, even if we want to go in a completely different direction. Ooh, what do you got going here?
Well, so this is the history. I just so I started typing in coordinate plane healed by grace, because that's where just my brain landed. But look, it ended up with a clock. With multiple hands. With three hands. With 3 hands, and that's, you know, there's a lot of symbolism. I kind of like this. What do you guys think?
You know what time that is?
Now. Now. Okay, so I'm gonna add now. Interesting. I don't like it as much.
Nope.
I'm gonna delete
that one. I like the abstract version.
Yeah. And so that's what's nice, is it kind of puts a little bookmark there, so you can kind of go back to that. But I think relationship might be the thing that math and humanity have in common.
You could even throw love in there and see where that goes.
Oh yeah, because I don't know what it's getting like super on the nose.
Look,
that's a cool picture.
Yeah, boy, that's very, very expressive there.
Let's go. Love of God, love of neighbors. So those two things we talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's some really cool things. There's one that went by that I really like, this one.
Oh, yeah,
and then that one was really good too.
Very powerful.
There's something, there's just something about that.
So look at the diversity in this picture that you've got right on the screen. It's kind of got a world, international world flair there.
Yeah.
And look at their hands. Their hands together are one.
Together.
They are, but they're literally one. It's like Siamese twin hands.
Right.
This is interesting. And let's just put in. Yeah, I do too. So here, I just added one word: humanity. I kind of like that. What do you think?
I like all of them. Yeah,
I like all of them too.
See the evolution. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. So I think this is the one that probably I was the most excited about, that clock one. What do you guys think? Yeah,
because it's abstract enough, you can fill in the blanks in your mind however you want to go. It also gives a
Yeah.
lot of opportunity for people to color it in if they want to create one of those little paper plates too.
Ooh, yeah. One of these, like a squirrel paper plate.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
NFT in
so
the making.
yeah, I am putting this in our Jumbotron for safekeeping, and there we go. We're 8 slides in just one day in week 5. So this is pretty
Rock and
cool.
roll.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you everybody for being here. We will be back tomorrow, and tomorrow's guest is Hillary Russo, which I'm so excited about. She's a Havening coach and an actress. She just got back into presenting on QVC, so we have a QVC legend in the house tomorrow. But for right now, go make a beautiful now.
Yes. So as we leave, and we want to give thanks to the PEAR people and also to our awesome producer Mary. I want to play a song that I learned with this exact process we're talking about. First it was imitation, then it was emulation, and now it's creation, and it's all kind of combined together. This is a now version of El Shaddai by Michael W. Smith.
I love this. I love this song.